I feel like the one of the main things I'm like super interested in to talk to you about is like your mindset. I feel like the content you're making is super motivating and like inspirational. Maybe if you just want to go through like where you've gone from
Yeah.
previously to like where you are now and like your transformation or like your change mentally and then also like physically, I guess at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it has been pretty. Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I post these days are like motivational, inspirational, all that kind of good stuff. Yeah. So for me personally, like my story, is like I went through something that proper tested my character. Basically, that's just the best way to put it. And put my back against the wall. And for me, I felt like I was at like rock bottom. So when I hit that rock bottom stage, that's when I realized, okay, something needs to change. Something needs to give, because I can't continue the way that I was going, especially after something had happened. So a change had happened this year. It was quite a big change for me personally. And yeah, I just got to the stage where I was like, okay, we can't look back anymore. Need to have a different approach on life, different approach on my mindset, on every aspect of my health, physically, mentally, even emotionally as well. I feel like that was something that I was disregarding,
Mm-hmm.
at a sense. And yeah, I just got to the stage where I was like, yeah, change was needed. So basically, yeah, in summary, I went through something pretty, how would I describe it? Pretty heavy this year.
Yeah.
And then that's where I was like, okay, I need to change. So from then, yeah, so actually, if you look at like the comparison, so that was something probably happened, yeah, maybe like 5 months ago. So if you look at myself, let's just say like start of the year,
Yeah.
I was in a position where I was the word I use is comfortable
Yeah.
in all my areas of life. Let's just use gym for example. I'd go to the gym, I'd kind of just like go with the flow. Like I wasn't really like pushing. I was just easy going. You know what I mean? When it came to sport, I was very just rock up, enjoy, leave. I had a partner at the time. I was very happy. Yeah, there was a lot of areas of my life where comfortable is probably the best word to just describe it. And then when you go through a time where you're at that stage in life where everything is just comfortable, and then half a second later you're at rock bottom, like quite literally half a second later, everything changes. And like I said, that was the moment where I realized, okay, that comfortable feeling, that stage of my life where there was no drive, there was no purpose, there was no kind of need to just like to push to be better.
Mm-hmm.
I need that. I needed that. Like I just the thought of like being comfortable these days and just no progression and no kind of desire to become better, like that, it makes me feel sick. And it might be like it might be a little bit extra, a little bit full on. But yeah, oh man, that feeling and that thought of just being comfortable, oh, like it's just, yeah, nah, big no. So actually got a comparison photo. I don't know if you've seen it, but I've put it
Yeah. Yeah.
on my Instagram not long ago. And there was me. I took a mirror selfie, and I was like wired up because I was going through like a heart monitor process at that time. So they were doing some tests. I was pretty skinny. I think especially in comparison to now, I was pretty skinny. Like I had abs. My arms were like pretty small. My face looked really, really sad. It was crazy because like in the moment I didn't see any of this, but looking back at
Mm.
it now, it's crazy how obvious it is. Like my face was really sad. My lips were like kind of caved in. Like it was kind of look like the photo basically just shows like fragile and anxiety. And anxiety was a big, big thing in my life back then. Still is, but start of the year, last year, or the last few years has been crazy. But that photo in particular, when
Mm.
I had taken it, was just a normal photo. But looking back at it now, that is like it's just crazy how, yeah, how anxiety written that photo looks. And especially when you compare it to now, like I've got that comparison photo of what I am like now,
Mm.
it's polar opposite. And it's crazy because all you have to do is just tweak a little bit when it comes to your mindset and just want to improve in every area of your life, and it becomes bread and butter. Like it is so obvious when you look back
Yeah.
how little you were accepting, and how, you know, how that no push and that no strive to be better was just accepted. And yeah, like for me, like that photo is a representation of, you know, back then was a boy, now is like a man. You know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
comparison, because it's just, everything is just so different. And I feel like, yeah, once again, because I had gone through something that proper tested my character, that's what my decision was, to decide to become like a different person, basically. So for me, once again, this might sound like a little bit crazy, but I actually tell people, like, you need to go through something. You need to like hit rock bottom, or you need to have your character tested, because, you know, when you're up and about and life's good, life's comfortable, it's easy to display a character that's, you know, chest out, shoulders retracted, look at me, look at me, look at me.
Definitely.
But show me the character that you are when you're at rock bottom. Like, that's the character I want to see. Like, you know, like I said, when everything's going well, it's easy. It's a big smile on your face, everything's good, you laugh and all that kind of stuff. When it hits rock bottom, are you going to crumble? Are you going to go into your shell? Are you going to, you know, sit in your room? Or are you actually going to show your proper character and be like, no, this is where we change. This is it. And for me, that was a tough decision to make, because if you're feeding off your emotions, kind of going into your shell is the easy option, because that's what your emotions are telling you. If you're upset, if you're angry, sad, you know, like I said, you're in struggle town. It's so easy to go into that, let's crumble.
Yeah.
So the harder decision is to actually go, no, this is the day. This is the day that we change. So that, for me, was a tough decision to make, especially given the extreme circumstances that was going on and what happened. But it honestly was easily the best thing that's ever happened in my life. And it's crazy because, like, in that moment when everything was going down, if you were to tell me, like, this is going to be the game-changing thing in your life, this is going to be where your life excels, I would have been like, yeah, right, mate, like, whatever, like, stop talking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But literally, like, you just get your head down and you work and you hustle and you just become better, and you use situations like that for the better. A few months down the track, you're looking back and you're like, that actually was the best thing that has ever happened in my life. And it's just unbelievable, man. Like, I tell you, I love it. I love it. I'm like, where I'm at now, I'm very, very happy. But once again, that doesn't mean you take your foot off the pedal. And this is in every area of my life. This is not just the gym. Like, the gym's just the gym. But this is also in terms of, like, my mental health. Like I said before, last few years, my mental health hasn't been the best. I've been very anxiety ridden. I've had multiple heart tests. I've had multiple healthcare plans written up. I've never seen a psychologist. And that was always something that I was like, I need to see one. But I wasn't prioritizing my mental health, because I was just going with the flow. Like I said, I was in that comfort stage. There was no push to actually improve my overall well-being. And then ever since my life has changed, that was one of the first things I've done. Started seeing a psychologist. I said, nice. Let's cut the shit. My mental health isn't ideal. Let's actually do something about it. Let's just not just talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Physical health,
sure.
we're smashing the gym. We're getting bigger. We're feeling good. You know, we've got soccer coming up in January. Once it gets to a certain stage, we're going to start cutting. We're going to look good. We're going to feel good. Bang. So you're ticking that aspect. When it comes to your emotional health, you're actually embracing your emotions. Like, you're actually understanding them. You're not pushing them to the side. You know, there's definitely been nights where I haven't been in a good state, and I haven't been in a good, you know, situation. But they're not the nights, or they're not the days where you dwell on. They're the nights that you remember 6 months down the track, 12 months down the track, when you're doing a lot better than what you were, and you go, shit, like, look at me now. You know what I mean? Like, that.
Yeah.
That is, like, gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. And, like, a lot of people might think, you know, I'm a little bit, like, excessive when it comes to that. But I'll just tell them, like, you need to go through something. You just need to go through something that'll push you, that'll just show your real character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you sort of like end up, you're so close to it all. It's all happening so close to you. You just need that thing to set you apart and look at yourself from a little bit further away, and you're like, oh my God, you have some sort of realization. and you start thinking, all right, I'm making a change. Like this is what I'm
100%.
doing. I'm going for it. And all these like little moments that you're talking about, like if you're not having a good night or something, like when you can sort of form your mentality and your mindset to look at those things and use them as like motivation and things to drive you forward rather than hold you back, it is sort of like a superpower, I think.
100%.
And
Absolutely.
so yeah, so many people, I feel it can be so hard to do that, whether it's like their environment they're in, like with the friends they're hanging out with, or you know, like their physical environment, like
Yep.
whoever, like their household or their family, or there's a lot of factors that can actually really make that difficult. So
Absolutely.
you know, you feel for people, but then also there's like these things that happen, and they just like cause a massive push or change, and it's really good.
Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice that you're able to go and see a psychologist. How's that experience been? Like I've never been, but like,
Yeah.
what's that like to? Does it feel good? I guess like opening up to someone, and like, is it like a release, or yeah? I'm a little bit interested in that.
Yeah, well, initially going into it, I was at the stage where I'm like, I'm seeing an absolute random person that knows nothing about my life, that knows
Yeah.
nothing that has happened, that just knows nothing about me, and I'm about to spill the beans and just say everything. Initially, I was a bit like I don't know how I feel about that. Like it's a little bit weird, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I would have rather preferred speaking to people that I know, so they can be like, okay, this has happened. Okay, this, or well, they know just a little bit about me and how I respond to certain things. So initially it was I was 50-50 about it, but once I just pulled the trigger and I just said, stuff it, let's just give it a crack. Why not? I've got nothing to lose. Like if
Yeah.
it's no good, it's no good. If it's good, brilliant. You know what I mean? There was nothing to lose. So yeah, so I saw her. I've only seen her once. I'm seeing her again in the next few days, actually.
Nice.
But yeah, it was just like a little chilled out room. There's couches and all that kind of stuff. Um, and she just got talking, and she was just like, "Tell me about yourself." And I just started spilling the beans, and I said, "Yeah, this is me. This is what I do, etc., etc." And she kind of dissected more on the kind of surface level of what's been going on. So I said a few situations that's happened over the last few years. It was actually 3, in fact, that I'd spoken about. That was kind of like our first session, I guess, if that's what we want to call it. Just talk about, in like a general perspective, what's been going on. Then the next one would be kind of diving a little bit more deeper. But yeah, it was good. Like I was like I said, going into it, I was a little bit nervous. But once you just retract your shoulders, just relax. At the end of the day, I kind of used them being a random person to talk to in like a better perspective, because I was just like, they're random. Like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
their job is to listen. I'm just gonna say whatever. Like, and we just got talking, and it was actually refreshing just being able to speak. Because that's something that I do speak to people when it comes to certain things and things that have happened in my life. I do speak to them, but I hold back a lot at the same time. So I found that, yes, it is a random person, but that gives me every reason to speak, because it's like they don't know me. You know what I mean? They don't know who I am. So yeah, we were talking. We just got discussing certain things, diving deep. It was mainly me speaking, not gonna lie. She would touch in, talk about a few things, but it was mainly me. Initially it was daunting, but I walked out of it feeling unbelievable. Like I felt really, really good.
Yeah.
Just a lot of weight off the shoulders. And I feel like it's very cliche, like a lot of people will say, like, speak to people. And I do understand that, and I do definitely will promote that. But then it's a lot easier said than done when you're in that situation. They say, just speak. It's like, yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
for sure.
but you know what I mean? But when you actually go out of your way and do speak to people, oh, it's unreal. Like, it was so refreshing just being able to just say everything that gone on. She was giving a little bit of feedback. We had touched on that transformational photo, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. And yeah, it was basically describing the differences, and she actually asked me, and we were very open, like we were like swearing and all that kind of stuff, like it was just like whatever. So that also made me very comfortable.
Nice.
But she was like, she asked me, she goes, "Would you ever want to go back to the person you were at the start of the year?" And I said, "Hell no, like God no." And she was like, "Why is that?" And this is my response. Like I said, a lot of people might think it's extreme, but for me, this is like this is just it. So she was like, oh, like, why is that? Why do you not want to go back to that person? And I replied, because he's dead. Like, he's gone. And a lot of people might hear that and be like, oh, that's heavy. You know what I mean? And it is. It is a little bit heavy. But at the end of the day, if you go through something and you make that drastic change, and this is not just like one or two changes. This is like everything changes. You look at the person that I was and that boy, like I said before, just completely different person. Like when I say like completely different, like I mean completely different. And like I will never see him. You'll never see him. My friends won't. No one will see that version ever again. That is why I say he's dead. You know what I mean? That's just like, it is pretty heavy, but that's my mind at the moment. Like he's gone. And she'd actually like, no joke, it was like 3 to 4 seconds of pure silence. And then she goes, wow. I was like, yep. And I think that's where she's like, damn, I'm dealing with some guy right now. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, damn, this guy's crazy. But yeah, that's when it was. Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, how were your like friends and everything during this time? Did you have you had the same exact friend group the whole time, or did you have certain friends and did your friendship groups change? Or I'm interested in like your relationships through this whole time.
Yeah, so my friends have been like absolutely unbelievable. My mates are just fucking like my brothers. You know what I mean? They're always there for me. So when this situation had happened, because of how heavy it was, they were there. They were all supporting me, which is absolutely unbelievable. So they were really good. I became a lot closer with them, even though I was very, very close with them. It was like, we kind of like leveled up just that little bit more. And certain friends more than others, but as a whole, all my mates, I've just become closer to, just because of that support. And it's just like, damn, like, you know, I was at that stage and they reached out to talk, you know what I mean? So I respected that a lot, and I thought that was like a positive thing. So I've become overall a lot closer with my mates. I have kept the same group, to an extent. There were certain things that had happened after this situation that kind of filtered a few kind of out of the picture, which I think was needed anyway. I feel like, yeah, it's kind of like if I look at my mates, like let's say like 6-7 months ago, and I was to be like, okay, which ones actually create value in my life? Which ones are actually making me better as an individual? I could probably say like 90% of them. That 10% was still there. Because of what's happened, I was able to filter out that 10%. Like, okay.
Yeah.
In the best way possible, like you're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like once again, that just shows that it was just so needed. Like it's just...
Yeah, it's an important thing to be able to do, I think. Being able to recognize like what sort of relationships you've got with someone or certain people, and be able to like actually make the decision of I'm not going to allocate time and energy to this person, because at the end of the day it's like it's your life, it's your time, and there's really no need, and there should not really, I guess, be like an obligation. I feel like a lot of people, like myself included, sometimes feel like obliged with certain people, and you feel like almost it's just like this, like this obligation, I guess, you have, and to be able to stop those, or kind of maybe like take your foot off the gas with those relationships and friendships, and focus on the things that are like making you a better person, more valuable. You can make them a better person, and there's like this more of like a connection and like bond that's helpful for both of you in going in the direction that you both want to be going, or whatever. It's really hard, I think, sometimes to be able to like put in those boundaries with certain people.
Absolutely.
So like, like a lot of respect for that, because I that's like one of the things I find probably most difficult for me, is to be able to like put in these boundaries with people around certain things, and like it can definitely be hard.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask. I was like, have you ever gone through a situation where you've needed to, you know, kind of put up those walls? Have you personally?
Yeah, I think like actually I think the most I've been able to put up boundaries is probably since I've been in a relationship. I guess not like I have to cut anyone out of my life, but it's more like with my partner, I realized I was really not good at setting boundaries. Like I just had no boundaries, just I guess like the way I grew up and like my family dynamic, and we're sort of just like expectations to be doing certain things and obligations for each other. So I just like, that's how I was. Whereas she was very good at setting boundaries. And so when while we're in our relationship, I learned like, oh my god, like after a certain period of time, we had a little bit of a rough patch going on, and I was trying to figure out like what's going on here, and I think I realized like it's because I don't set any boundary.
Yeah.
So I need to tell her, I need to communicate like, hey, I need a certain or set amount of time, like straight up for myself. I need to focus on myself, because if I can't have this period for myself and this time for myself, then I can't provide for the relationship. So that was hard. And it's still like a work in progress, you know, to say that is one thing, but then like to actually keep it going, because it's like you said, you get comfortable, and you know, maybe we spend a bunch of time together, we're comfortable, it's been like a week or 2 weeks or whatever it is, and then you're like, there's this sort of feeling like, I need to, I'm not feeling a certain way that I need to be feeling and or want to be feeling, and I need that time alone, or I need that time for myself, so like recharge myself, and then I can provide for the relationship. So
absolutely,
it's a bit of a different dynamic, like friends, I guess, and like my partner, but sort of the same kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like when you're in that a relationship, and there's like certain things that are kind of not at the level that you or your partner want, a lot of people will just kind of let it happen, or pull the pin. They don't have like the, I guess you could say, courage, I guess, to be like, okay, look, let's sit down. This is a problem for me, or this is something that I'm kind of not, I guess you could say, like, not really enjoying or liking at the stage. How can we improve this? And that's why when it comes to like relationships and friendships, but mainly relationships for me, communication is everything. Like I am a big advocate for communication. Like if there's something wrong, if there's something that I've said, there's something that I've done, if there's something that I'm not doing, or something that you want, or accept, literally anything, just talk. You know, like let's see if we can get through this, or let's see if we can put up those boundaries, like you said, and set these kind of boundaries to improve as a couple. Because when you're in a relationship, like it's not a one-way street; it's a two-way street. It's two of you.
Yeah.
Work together, improve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people will, they don't. I don't know if they don't like that communications aspect of a relationship, but I'm big on communication, so I can 100% understand where you're coming from. Absolutely.
Yeah, I find sometimes I've noticed, like for me and my partner, we are, I feel like, really always trying to like level up our relationship and work on things. It can feel sometimes like impossible, because it's like there's like so many things to be like spoken about, and like when you have maybe like a problem or something's happened or someone's not feeling a certain way and you want to communicate, like that's one thing, like that's one skill, but then you have this whole other skill of like now throw in emotions, and now throw in like habits or past like traumas or whatever it is, and it's just like this mixing pot of just like difficulty to navigate. And like like I've said, I think relationships are like a lot of work, but like super rewarding. And you do need to be, I guess, well, you don't need to be, but I think both need to have like the same outlook on the relationship, and think like, okay, I need to be willing to look at myself and look at like the relationship and really dissect it, and be willing to like change that and improve it for myself, which actually takes you saying and looking at yourself and saying, the way I am now is like not the best version, you know, like it's a version that's a constant work. And I don't know, like how, like I know what you mean. Like you see people that they have like these problems that it seems they just do nothing about it, and then they just stay like that, and then it just like either crumbles or they get out of it, and like nothing comes of it, and then they go to the next person, and then it's the same thing. It's the same problem.
It's the same shit.
If you don't, you know, do this stuff to help work on yourself, and I guess in turn the relationship, then like you're just gonna continue doing the same thing, like no matter who you're with.
Mate, couldn't agree more.
Because I feel like it's just like, yes, you start doing stuff for the relationship, but most importantly, this is what I think, is you need to, if you work on yourself, if you make yourself like your main priority, right? And you just make all of your sort of like first priority things, like for myself, make myself better person, better everything, that directly impacts everyone around you and directly makes all the relationships around you better. And then the people around you, They see you doing that by yourself. It's like you're leading by example, and then
Mate.
you can lift other people. So this whole thing of like telling other people to do better is just like complete bullshit in my
Yeah.
opinion. And
Yeah.
just worry about yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. Yeah. And if you lead by that example, I guess if that's what you want to say, which
Yeah.
I agree. Like I said, even if it's 1% of what you do, like for example, if you're setting the standard and I'm seeing what you're doing, if I take 1% of what you're doing and ingrain it into me in an aspect of like, this is what you do to level up your mentality, for example, if I take just 1%, I'm 1% better. And then if someone takes 1% from me, they're 1% better. And you just level. I can't sit there and be like, Nate, you need to do this. You need to do that. No, you don't need to do anything. You just need to focus on yourself and the time will come. And you just got to level up. And I think that's the stage that I'm going through at the moment. It's just, I've just dropped everything. All right, let's reschedule my priorities. Bang, 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 bang. These are my priorities. Let's look at them and let's improve. Like I said, if you brush everything under the carpet and you just whatever, and in a relationship aspect, okay, onto the next, you're still going to have that underlying, denominator, I guess, if that's what you want to say. You're still going to have that. So you're not leveling up in any aspect as to what you think. Set your priorities, focus on them, improve. Because yeah, it's going to help your relationships with everyone. Agreed.
What are I'm interested to know like what are your priority changes? What were your priority shiftings? Like what did you used to have as high priorities? What has been dropped completely? What are things that are like a little bit lower? What are things at the top? Like break it down for me.
Break it down. All right. So I'm not in like an order, but a priority. I mean, I always had a high physical health priority, but that went to a whole new level because, like I said before, like I went to Europe. Oh, it's a grey area, but I'll touch. I might touch on it later. I went to before Europe. Like I said, I would go into the gym, and I've always been like a gym guy. But I'd go into the gym and just go with the flow. There was no sense of pushing myself. There was no sense of I don't know what it was. I think it was that comfort stage because I would do it a few times, and I'm like, hang on, that was actually alright, and I just continue with it. I would just go with the flow. Like I would barely burn up a sweat. I would not push myself to the degree that I'm doing at all. So that was one thing. And I got it kind of addressed by one of my mates. He legit messaged me and was like, dude, I ain't even going to cap right now. He goes, you are taking life so easily in this aspect. Like you just go with the flow and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, damn. I was like, you're actually right. Because a few years ago, I was at that level. And then it's been dropping. Then I was at here, and that's when he's like, dude, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, is everything all right? And then ever since everything's happened, now it's all the way up here. So that was something that I definitely focused on just to go in and just be better. You know what I mean? And like I said, before Europe, if I couldn't be bothered going to the gym, I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to sit on my ass the whole day or sit on my ass the whole night, watch shows and all that kind of stuff. Now, if I can't be bothered, they're the sessions that are the best because you can't be bothered and you've gotten in the car after work. I'll always have my gym stuff on the passenger seat. And it's actually, I think it was especially, there was one that was last week or early this week. And I literally sat in my car after work and I'm like, I can't be stuffed. I just can't be bothered. I was wrecked. But I said, nope. Because if I just went home, then I'd be going back to my old habits of just going what the emotions are feeling. You know what I mean? So I went to the gym, had an unreal session. And then you know how much better you feel afterwards when you couldn't be bothered. You go to the gym and you get it done. And that's not just like the gym. That's just like everything. If you can't be bothered working or if you can't be bothered getting episodes out in a podcast, you're just wrecked. You're just like, stuff this. Nope. I need to get it done regardless. That is the most rewarding thing ever. So for me, physical health was a big thing that I changed. My mental health was a big thing. I was very, very, very anxious. I was like, I was like a mess basically when it came to my mental health. Very on edge, basically fight or flight, nearly 24/7.
Wow.
And once again, that was something that I would just brush under the carpet, not see a psychologist. I would care about everything, and that probably contributed to me always being anxious. Once everything happened, I'm like, I don't give a shit about much at all. Like literally, all I would care about is my family, friends, and myself. That's it. That's all I care.
Nice.
Before it was like this. Oh, what about that? Oh, that connects to that. I should care about. Calm down. Have a breather. Relax. And I was very anxious about things that I couldn't even control. very anxious about that kind of stuff. So then now I'm at the approach where I'm like, if I can't control it, why am I panicking about it? Because I can't control it. If I can control it, okay, what can I do to kind of make it the best possible situation? But if I can't control it, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my mental health was 100% something that has just been boosted to just a whole different level, and something that I've been focusing on just mentally. Like, you know, I early stages of I think it's 2020, 2021. That's when this anxiety was kind of kicking in, and I had a massive panic attack in the gym. So really, really bad. And that was one of the things that I mentioned to my psychologist. So, and I'm like, I was on pre-workout, so I correlated pre-workout to anxiety, or caffeine to anxiety. So literally like maybe 2020 to 2022. Actually, no, I reckon even early stages of this year.
Can you just, if you're comfortable with it, explain, like, walk us through the panic attack? Because I find them really interesting to hear, like, the events leading up to it and things going on and like the thought process at the time.
Yeah.
So
okay.
If that's cool.
Yeah. No, I'll dive into it. So what happened was I was at the gym, I was training chest, and I used to be a high stim. Of course, I train chest. You know. Now I used to be like a high stim, like caffeine bloke. I used to have like a lot of caffeine for the gym. So yeah, I was training chest, and I don't know what I did initially, but I kind of like touched on my left pec. And I think it like moved in a way that me, hand on heart, thought I've just shifted my whole heart. Like, it was the weirdest feeling ever. I thought that I went like that or something, and then I felt like this move, I thought it was internally, this move, like this shift like that. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell was that? And I went into panic mode. And like I said, I was very caffeinated at the time as well. So already I was on edge in the sense, not in an anxiety way, but I was already on edge. Then that had happened, and that was the first time I'd experienced a proper panic attack. So I had no coping mechanism. I was just bang, gone. So I'd done that, and I was like, oh my God. And you know when you know that feeling where your heart drops a little bit and you're like, oh my God, and it's kind of like a realization. That's what I'd gone through, and I was dripping of sweat. I probably was sweating already as it is, but I was drenched in sweat, and one of my mates was in the gym, so I had to walk over to him. I was like stumbling around because my vision had actually started to go. Like, everything was very bright. And I'd made my way over to him, and I actually sat down on the ground. I'm like, dude, I don't know what the hell is happening right now, but I'm freaking out. And he goes, all right, let's go outside. So he's literally like got me by the arm and walking, because I was in a state where I could not even walk. I was seeing stars. I was drenched in sweat. Like, we went outside, and my heart was boof, 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 like absolutely pounding. I literally remember this like it was yesterday. I took 2 steps outside of the gym, and I told myself, like, okay, I'm dying right now. That is the only kind of thing that I could think of. I was like, this is what it feels like. And I literally sat down outside, and I just remember being covered in sweat. And he was telling me afterwards, not in the moment, that I was so white. I was just in a completely like, I was a mess. So I'd experienced that, and I'd finally calmed down. Finally was just focusing on my breathing. He was like, focus on your breathing, calm, breathe, bro, breathe. And I literally, after everything had kind of calmed down and the storm had kind of gone past, I just grabbed my keys and left. And I remember going home, and mum was there, and my auntie was actually there as well. And I'd gone home, and parents, they just know when something's up. Like, it's just crazy. Yeah. And I'd gone home, and were like, is everything all right? And I just started crying. I was like, I don't know what had just happened, but that was so bloody scary. Like, I was freaking out, like, basically, but to a whole different degree. Like, that was still the biggest panic attack I've ever had. Like, sweating, white, could not see, like, literally vision was gone, and my heart was pounding, and I was like, wow. And I just started crying, and then, so then I that was that situation. So that I had associated caffeine with panics. So when it came to the gym, literally, like I said, from 2020 to 2023, if I had an energy drink, if I had any form, I actually took a massive break from pre-workout and caffeine in general. But when I'd got back into it, I was literally, and this sounds pretty crazy, but I would literally be like, only like a little small V. I'd be drinking it on the way to the gym, and I'd be literally talking to myself saying, calm down, breathe, it's fine, because I had that correlation. So I'm literally like driving to the gym, and as soon as I was like, oh, hang on. I'm like, calm down. It's okay. Literally speaking to myself like that. So that was a scary kind of time in my life when it comes to just being able to control myself. And then I actually had another situation that had happened, and this is crazy. This was when was this? 2021 or no? I think 2022. I'll just briefly touch on it. Me and my mates were going out, and we were waiting for an Uber outside, and the Uber would rock up, and this was kind of, I think he was still a little bit frantic about COVID, which is fine because it was 6 of us, and he goes, it was 5 or 6 of us, anyways. But he disregarded the front seat. He goes, I'm not having anyone on the front seat. We said, all right, sweet. So we booked another Uber, and a car rocked up, and it was a little small, I thought it was red, but it was a little small car that rocked up, and they said something out the window, no idea what they said. They drove to the end of the street, they turned back around, they all got out of the car, all of them, it was 5 of them, with balaclavas and knives. This is in Aspendale. Wow. This is literally like local, like this is not in the city or anything. And they were just screaming. They're like, you want to get... I don't even know what the word was. It's some random ass word. But it was basically saying, like, initially, do you want to get stabbed? And we were like, what the hell? Like, what the frick? Like, no. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, so they started walking back to the car. This was like maybe like a solid ass minute of just interrogating us. And then walked back to their car. And as soon as they got to the car, it's like they had planned it. As soon as they got like one or two steps to their car, they just turned around and they just started chasing us. And you got 5 blokes with knives chasing 6 blokes that don't have anything, obviously.
Wow.
We just hit the legs. We were just running. And we got to the next street and we were like, is this, like, were you being pranked? Like, what the fuck? And then when we probably had settled in the middle of the street for maybe about 3 to 5 seconds, one of our mates wasn't there as well. So we were like, what is going on right now? Literally 3 to 5 seconds later, this car turns into the street that we're in and hits the legs. Like, they literally cut us off. They hit the middle of the street. They cut us off in a driveway. And that's when it was like, okay, what the fuck's going on right now? And then we hit the legs. That's where it spread. Bang, bang, bang. Everyone went everywhere. And then, there was a lot of, that was a pretty big situation. Like, we had to go to the police station, give reports and all that kind of stuff. But that was a moment where, when it came to, like, me seeing groups outside, and, like, for example, on a night out, or if I was walking the streets with a mate or something and I saw a group of blokes, I would be on edge. That was my, you know what I mean? Just because it was just like, we'd just been chased by knives. Like, what the hell? Like, that's just crazy. So, I mean, probably still now, but once again, when it came to that, mental health, out the window. Like, it was just crazy. Like, I just struggled to relax in certain areas. Gym, outside, seeing like a group of people. And then this situation that happened, the most recent one. I don't know if I should touch on it. I feel like I might briefly give a rundown.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, let's for sure.
Might as well. But I haven't spoken about it publicly. I've touched on it. I was obviously speaking to mates about it. But, okay. So what had happened, and I'm not going to go into heaps of details out of respect to, like, certain people. But what had happened was I was in a 4.5-year relationship.
Yeah.
Once again, very, very comfortable. Everything's just smooth. Beautiful. Love that. And me and my partner at the time had planned Europe. We planned a Europe trip. We took a few months to plan it. But we were set on it, and it was awesome. Like, I was so excited for it. It was unbelievable. Anyways, so we had arrived in Europe on the Friday night, and we went out and all that kind of stuff. And I was with my sister, my brother-in-law, my cousin, and my cousin's friend as well. So it was a solid group of us. We had went out, and then the Saturday was our first, like, full day, because, like I said, we rocked up at like 11 o'clock at night on the Friday, so it wasn't like a full day. So Saturday was the first full day. And we were all just, like, chilling out, drinking by the pool and stuff. And then I got the message from a random person, absolutely no idea who they are. And it was like, hey, thought I'd give you the heads up. Your partner has been cheating on you with my partner back in Melbourne. So we were in Europe. Wow. And I find out with my partner right next to me. And I'm like, I'm on the other side of the world. And I'm like... and I had names. It had things that were very specific. So I knew it was a little bit like, ooh, like what? It wasn't like a bot account, like messaging a load of shit. So I was a bit like, wait, what? I was like, I took a little bit to process, and then I just pulled her aside and had a chat, and then basically I just said, like, you've got to go. Like, what the hell? Like, you've got to leave. Like, I don't know what the hell you're going to do. You've got to sort yourself out, but you've got to leave. I can't have a Europe trip with someone who I just found out has been doing this the month leading up.
Did she admit to it?
Yeah. Admitted to it at all. Everything had opened up. So, but I was like, I can't have a Europe trip with someone who's been doing this. Obviously, like, I'm just not going to do that. In the month that was leading up to Europe. And keep in mind, like, the month leading up to Europe was when I'd taken that photo, that initial photo of me wired up. Crazy, huh? It was like my birthday. Like a lot of things had gone on, and I was so oblivious to it. Like I did not know. Nothing had changed. So that had happened, and that was the moment that I was referring to earlier. That was the change. That right there,
Yeah.
because that, and a lot had happened after we had broken up. Over there and went back in Melbourne. But that was the moment where I'll probably say, like, I was rock bottom. That was rock bottom. When you find out your partner for 4.5 years has been doing this, and you find out in Europe, the first full day of Europe, right next to her. That was when it was like, okay, what the fuck? That was crazy. And then I had to, that was the Saturday. On the Sunday, I had to reschedule my literal whole entire holiday in one day. It just taken months to plan. I've got a whole day to change it. So I had joined my brother-in-law and my sister for the whole trip. Very, very grateful for them. But like, so this was all in Ibiza in Madrid. It was too short of notice because that was Saturday. Sunday we changed everything. Monday we were all leaving. So my brother-in-law and my sister were going to Madrid, and obviously I joined them. And it was just like this room. We couldn't change the accommodation because it was short notice. This room was literally tiny. It was one of the smallest places I've ever stayed in. It was one bed. It was one bathroom. Like that was it. It was the absolute bare minimum. So there was no other bed for me. So we literally, what we had to do is we had to have a blanket as my mattress. This is on the ground, yeah? This was what I mean when I say bottom of the barrel. Blanket as my mattress. I've got a pillow. And I've got a towel as my blanket. And I'm literally lying there, and I remember this one night in particular, I'm literally lying there, but like, I've just had this situation happen to me 2 days ago, and now I'm in Madrid, where I'm not even meant to be, and I'm sleeping on the ground on a blanket. Like, what the hell? That was like, the expectations for Europe was this, and I am this plus lower. Like, that was when I was like, it was the biggest, like, wake-up call. I was just, like, what the hell is happening right now? That is, like, that's some heavy shit. So...
Yeah, I feel like that'll do something to you. That's your moment, you know?
Absolutely. That was my moment. So...
what are the things going... I'm interested to know, like, what are the things going through your mind at the time? Because I imagine there would be, like, a period of shock, of, like, just, like, disbelief, can't believe it.
Yeah.
And then like something else after that, and then like a self-reflection almost period, obviously is what's sort of, from my opinion, like what I've heard so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess like walk me through like what's like your mind through that time, because I mean I can't believe I would have no idea what that would feel like.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry you had to deal with that.
No, all good. Like I said, now I'm looking back at it. Like,
yeah,
I'm actually glad it happened. You know what I mean? Like, in every aspect. But my mind when it was happened, the first few days. So you're looking at the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, probably half of Monday. Barely ate, barely drank. Not even like I said, barely drank water. Wasn't eating. Was in a pure state of shock. Couldn't sleep. That was when it was really, really tough. Obviously, it just happened. So the first few days was a shock stage. Then the maybe like the week, 2 weeks after that was more of like the realization of what had happened. And that was when I was like, okay, what? Like the kind of shock had passed. Now it hit home. I was just like, this is ridiculous. And I remember there was one night in London, and a lot had happened in London. Like my brother-in-law had got his phone stolen, and I remember we had gone out for dinner, and we had gone back to our place once again in small places because there wasn't really enough time to get like a room each or anything. So there was a lot of places in Europe where it's just one big room and the beds are in that one room. So we're all like pretty close, and
not a lot of privacy.
Nah, and that was that kind of lack of space to myself was when it started to become a bit of a problem because, like I said, one night in one night in London, once again, I didn't have this privacy, and it was a little bit hectic because, you know, with the phone situation, so people on the phone, and I'm lying in my bed, and there's people like my brother-in-law, my sister are 2 meters away on the phone everything's just hectic, and I'm just lying there. I'm like, I need to go outside. And I literally remember going outside and just sitting on the gutter, and I was like, what is happening? Like, this is not the Europe trip that I planned. This sucks. And it was a tough moment. And I remember my old man called me. So I think my sister had told Dad, like, give him a call.
Yeah.
My old man called me, and that was when it just that's tough. Like, you know what I mean? And like, my parents were also in Europe at the time, but they weren't with us. And I think especially from like a parental approach, like when you're not with your kids or with someone who's going through that, you kind of feel like helpless. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that they would want to do everything for me to help me through this stage, but they couldn't because they weren't with me. So that was a tough time. So there was a few weeks where it definitely hit home. And then it was kind of, I think the back end of my Europe trip was the self-reflection. That's where I was like, okay. I think it was also good that I was in Europe, because if all this happened in Melbourne, there was no distraction. There would be nothing. It would just be work, gym, uni, same shit every day. Whereas this, I was going out, I was seeing things that I've never seen before. It was still a good holiday, but mine was running 27 hours of the day. Like, it was just ridiculous. So that self-reflection stage was a big one for the back end of the Europe. And then once I'd gotten back from Europe and in Melbourne, it obviously took a few days for me to just kind of process that was my Europe trip. And then I just hit the ground running. And then I was just like, okay, now I don't have time to waste. Like, I've experienced the lows of the lows. Like, when you talk about rock bottom, like, obviously there's a lot worse out there, but for me, that's rock bottom. That is my rock bottom. And I think, and Mike, there's a video of actually, Mike Tyson says it best. He goes, you need to hit rock bottom, because the struggle that you go through, have you seen it? Have you seen this video?
Yeah, I've seen
it. Oh,
it.
dude, it's hectic. I got goosebumps when I first saw it. He goes, the struggle that you go through when you hit rock bottom, and the leveling up and the growth that you obtain, it is beautiful. And it's true, because when you're in the moment, it ain't beautiful. I tell you that for free. Like, it's not good. But when you're going through it and you're seeing the changes, it's like, damn, it actually is pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, it is good. And that's where it's like, in that moment, it's going to feel like the world's against you, but on the back end of it, it's going to be the best thing that's ever happened. And it has been. It's been awesome. But anyways, that was basically my moment. Yeah.
What do you think? Because when I hear this, and I think, like, you hear someone hits rock bottom, something happens to them, and they're in the shit. There's like two options, and one is to do what you've done, and is to go, all right, fuck this, I'm fully changing. Or the other option is almost to like cower away and be scared and just like and then like feel like, oh my god, it's all happening to me, and playing like almost that victim mentality. I think what is the difference? What do you think made you take the first approach of saying fuck that, I'm going for it, compared to the second?
Yeah. So once again, this is also a come into play when it comes to like my support groups. Once again, like my mates, my family, like very, very grateful for them. But I think, people can tell you like, focus on this, focus on that. This is the route that you need to take, like improve. But you need to be willing to do it. And I feel like, basically what you said before about the relationships, like, you actually making that change is just as big as addressing it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so I'd gotten, feedback, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, from my support group. But for me, I was like, okay, I've just hit rock bottom. I feel like a worthless piece of shit, but I'm not. That's never happening. That is never happening again. So once again, I could have easily folded into my emotions and be like, I'm the victim. Pick me. But I think seeing that first stage of growth that had come from it, and seeing how much better I was off straight away, I now look at struggle and I call them hurdles in life. Like, I want more of them, because seeing that I had just gone from here to here, imagine if you go from there to there to there, you just keep going. So now I'm looking at approaches, like, it's so easy to kind of cave in and be like, pick me. I'm the victim. Why has everything happened to me? It's so easy, because that's what the emotions are telling you to do. That is literally it. But if you build Yeah, go on.
Oh no, no, finish, and then
Oh,
I'll
sorry.
say.
I was gonna say, if you build like that mental capacity to be like, I've just seen growth, I want more. Like I want
Mm,
more. It's not pick me. It's this is growth. Literally everything that happens in life is growth. That's why like I call them hurdles because you're gonna get over them. You know, it's like a 100-meter hurdle. You know, you're gonna jump over them. They're just little obstacles that happen at the time. You're gonna get over them. So having that approach, best thing that's happened to me, 100%.
yeah.
But
Do you feel like? Because I think also like if someone's cheating on you, right? It makes like there's the other thought of like you could think it's me that's the problem or it's me that wasn't good enough, so that's why they cheated. And I think like a lot of people could, and people definitely do, like internalize it to make it as if it's them, and then they look at themselves as like worse.
yeah,
Whereas the other sort of approach to is like okay, well this is nothing to do with me, this is like all to do with the other person and what they've done, either whatever it might be.
yeah.
But yeah, it's I mean, first of all, it's good to see that you can like look at it in that light. But what would you say to someone else that maybe just found out that they were cheated on?
Yeah.
Another guy, I guess.
Yeah. So I couldn't agree more. It is, and I felt, I don't know if I still feel that, but I definitely did. Where it was like it has to be me. Like it literally has to be. Like I'm at fault here. It's so. That's probably the first thing that people are going to think. But at
Mm,
the end of the day, you need to know your self value. You need to know that at the end of the day, there's gonna be people that are gonna do that. That's it's so easy to do that, especially like with social media these days. Like back in the day, you
mm,
wouldn't have that. Now it's so easy. So you need to have your value on yourself and know I'm a good person. I'm not a scumbag. Like I'm a good person. I've got a good heart. They have gone out of their way. They have weighed up the pros, the cons. They have weighed up the decision that they're about to make or the decisions that they're about to make.
mm,
They have weighed up that once my partner finds out about this, we're done. They have looked at all of those questions and they've said, yep, this is
mm,
worth it. This is it. I am going out of my way to do this, knowing that I am backstabbing my partner, knowing that they are going to be hurt for a very, very long time, knowing that this relationship's about to end. But not just this relationship, the relationship with families, the relationship with his friends or her friends.
mm.
They have weighed all of that up and they have still said yes. So at the end of the day, if that is what they value a relationship to be at, if you're on the receiving end of that and your partner has done that, okay, thanks for coming. You know what I mean? Like you need to look at it as like, and yes, yes, there would have been like amazing times in every relationship. But if you find out that they've done this, okay, I've just dodged a bullet. You need to, because you will literally eat up at yourself if you don't have that approach, and it's tough. It's not easy. Like if it's easy, everyone will do it. It's tough. It's not easy at all. But you just need to go, okay, that's what you've valued this relationship at. I've just dodged a bullet. You've looked at that and you've said, this relationship will break once this person finds out, and you've still said yes to it. Okay,
Yeah.
good to know. I'm glad that you've. I'm finding this out.
Yeah, I feel like because I've thought about this before, and like, I guess like I've thought about it and like I'm wondering if this happened to me, like how would I kind of look at it and what would I do? And I the same thought comes back to me where I think, you know what, it's no matter what, it's for the rest of their life, that's on their conscience. It's their guilty conscience
Bang.
they've got, and you can you can guarantee that could be weighing on her for the rest of her life,
Yeah,
and she'll know no matter what. As much as she wants to try to like hide it and put it away, she did it. It happened.
exactly.
It has. You're coming off clean from that. You got nothing on your mind. You got like you're bettering yourself. You're moving forward. But that person, they've done the thing that's sitting on their shoulder. And that to
Absolutely.
me, that makes me feel immediately. And I'm super grateful. Obviously, this has never happened to me, but that
Yeah.
if I think about it, I feel like that would make me feel like, wow, like you said, dodged a bullet. It
Yep.
really is, and
Absolutely.
I'm almost like some sort of way. It's like to know that that's the way it happened and that had happened, it's like a relief that it's happened then and there almost, because like you've just been given a pass to go fucking bang,
Bang,
you know?
balls to the wall. Yeah, absolutely. And like, and I'm a big advocate of like everything will happen for a reason. If you know this happens one, it's because there's a domino effect for later down in the path. It's because now that's going to happen. You know what I mean? So for me, everything happens for a reason in the sense that I found out on the first day. Imagine if I found out afterwards. Imagine if I found out towards the back end. I found out with my sister, my brother-in-law, my cousin's friend with me. 2 days later, instead of going to Madrid, we were meant to go to Switzerland. Imagine if I found out in Switzerland was just the two.
Yeah.
This is what I mean when I say everything happens for a reason. Because I'm extremely grateful that I found out when I did on the very first day. Because like I said, imagine finding out after Europe.
Yeah.
You've just spent, you know what I mean? This is what I mean when everything happens for a reason. And this is not just in a relationship aspect. This is everything. If you go for a job, you're like, this is my dream job. If you apply for it and you don't get it, it's because it's better down the path. Everything will happen for a reason. So you need to, like I can easily say you need to do this, you need to do that. But I highly recommend having that approach on life, saying everything happens for a reason. If shit is thrown at me, it's because it's a hurdle. I'm going to get over it. And because growth is there. I need growth. So especially after everything had happened, there was more shit that got thrown at me. It wasn't just, oh, I've done and dusted. There was more. And I was at the sense of, I was kind of at a level of mindset where I'm like, throw more. I need more. Because for me, I was looking at, once everything was kind of going well, something else had been thrown at me. And I was looking at that and be like, okay, someone's obviously looked at me and said like, this guy's not done. This guy needs more growth. And then everything would go well. Okay, hurdle, jump over it. Everything go well. Something else thrown at you. Okay, I need more. Like I'm not done. You know what I mean? So you need to kind of not. You have to have that approach, but you need to be open to having that approach of life. You know, shit's gonna be thrown at you. This is like they all say like this is like a dog eat dog world out here. But you know, if something gets thrown at you, if your back's against the wall, if you've hit rock bottom, it's for the greater good. There is going to be so much growth that comes with it.
Yeah. I actually released a short recently of Connor saying something very similar. You know, like no matter how dark it is now, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that you'll be grateful that happened to you then, because that will be creating who you are in the future.
Absolutely.
And it's so true, you know?
Yeah.
Like, anyway, you touched before on, like knowing your own values, knowing your own worth and stuff. What would you say to someone? Because I found it's difficult to convey that sort of message to people and like have them understand it. But like, how would you try to communicate to someone if they have no self-worth or self-value, that like they don't see themselves in that positive light?
Yeah.
What do you think they can do, or maybe you can speak from experience of like, what do you think you did to make yourself be able to look at yourself and actually like it and have value for yourself and know your worth?
Yeah. So yeah, once again, it can be a tough one in the moment with stuff going down, and to be like, I'm worthless. You know, it's so easy. But you need to, or like the suggestion that I would give to others is, you need to look at yourself and be like, okay, one stage of my life I'm at here. You know, every single day, am I looking to improve just that 1% better and better every single day? Because if you're, I'm not saying that you're worthless, but if you are having that approach of every single day, you're becoming better. You're creating more value for yourself from yourself. You know what I mean? So it can be tough to look at yourself and be like, bottom of the barrel. This is not really it. But you got to think, everyone's got their own value. Every single individual, whether you know I may see it or you may see it or they may see it. Like everyone originally has value. It's all about creating more value for yourself, like I said, but from yourself. Like you can't be reliant on other people being like, okay, do this, do that. You need to create value. You know, you need to set standards for yourself. You need to set boundaries for yourself. It's all about creating value. And every single day, like, am I waking up looking to become a better person? So everyone already has that value. It's all about creating more for yourself. am I waking up saying, okay, yesterday I did this, today I'm going to do this to become that little bit better? And it can be little things, like, for example, like, I've been getting into reading lately, and, you know, I might, for example, read 10 pages per night. Okay, today I'm going to read 15 pages. It's the small things, but it's that 1% better. Or I might wake up one day and be like, okay, you know, I've just trained in the gym. I'm going to go on the treadmill for 10 minutes. It's something that I didn't do yesterday, but I am doing today. I'm becoming better. And becoming better is creating more value. And you can use it in every aspect of life. You can use it in learning new instruments. You can use it in learning new languages. You can use it in going for a walk. It's every aspect. Everyone's different. Everyone's got their own like kind of hobbies and all that kind of stuff. It's all about implementing growth by just that 1% to create even more value. But everyone has value. Everyone wakes up with a purpose, and you know, some people might find it tough to find that purpose, but you have that purpose, whether that's going to work, whether that's going to uni, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's going for a run. Like, everyone's got a purpose. It's all about just creating more value by being that 1% better. And like, we're not saying like you need to be 100% better every single day. It's just the 1%ers. Like, the 1%ers are so important. Like, you got 1% every day, you're 7% better on the Sunday than you were on the Monday. That's growth. That's literally growth. That is literally being better.
Psst. Hey, you. Yeah, you. If you've made it this far, I just want to say a huge thank you. You have no idea how much it means to me, and I would love to express the immense amount of gratitude that I have for you. If you're enjoying the content so far, your support can truly help the podcast flourish. By simply subscribing, following, and liking and sharing, you're ensuring that our valuable content connects with the right audience, and it helps allow me to bring even more awesome content to you. Thanks again, and I really do hope you enjoy the rest of the episode, and many more to come. Yeah, we're back.
I think we just cut out for a second. I was like, oh shit, what's going on? The computers don't like the way we're talking. You know? But yeah, like a lot of people will think I need to be, you know, significantly better. No, just the 1%, 1% better. You know, do something that's uncomfortable. Do something that you wouldn't have done yesterday. Like, it's all about when we go back to that comfort stage. Like, I look at it as comfort is the enemy. So if I don't want to be comfortable, I need to be uncomfortable. Let's do something that is out of my comfort zone, but I'm going to grow from it. And like I said, it could be anything. It could literally be learning a new instrument. Like, I'm shit as at instruments, but learning it, I'm just like, you know, I didn't know how to do that yesterday, you know. And it could be like, for example, for me, the example that I use is simply speaking to a girl. You go on a night out, you're with a bunch of mates, you see a group of girls, and you go, oh, you know, I should speak to them. And a lot of people will go, oh, like, no, I won't. They won't do it, because not doing it is comfortable. Going up to a girl, you know, you might not have the best social skills or whatever, but going up to a girl and speaking to them might be uncomfortable for a lot of people. So actually doing that and just be like, stuff it, I'm just going to do it, that's uncomfortable. But that's where you're growing from. You know what I mean? Like, you might find, oh, this conversation with that girl went well, bang, I'm going to use that for the next one. And it's just confidence. This is what I mean. That's just one example to use, but just 1% better every single day.
Confidence can be so difficult, I think, for people to improve and to build. I think a lot of things now can really like impact someone's confidence negatively, especially with social media. And I was going to say something before, but I'll move it now to this, because like, you're making content, you've got your channels, all about obviously stuff in the gym, motivation, mindset, all that. And like, how have you gone about being on camera and talking on camera, and I guess like even like opening up more on the internet, because it is daunting. Like, even starting this podcast, I was like, for so long, I was like, before I released, I'm like planning everything, making it all work, and like I was like getting nervous and stuff, and thinking like all sorts of things, like, what about this person that I remember, or like this person, and then when I first posted it, I was like, it's actually like really not that bad. And it's just like that first little step, or that little tiny movement, and then you're like, oh, fuck this, like, it doesn't matter, you know. And what's the worst thing that could happen? Someone that doesn't matter says something that also doesn't matter about you, and it literally doesn't mean anything. You know.
Oh my god, preach, dude. Fuck. That's it. That's literally it. Like, the worst that's going to happen is someone who is literally irrelevant to your life is going to say something that is literally irrelevant to you. Who cares? Like, and I 100% agree that initial stage of posting things online and even getting behind a camera, that is daunting as hell. Like, you are putting yourself out there. But if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. A lot of people aren't doing it. So you're posting podcasts, buddy, every single week. You're putting yourself out there. Bang, tick. You're doing something that a lot of people aren't doing. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to like the social media and putting yourself out there and posting yourself online, 100% it is daunting. But that's initially. And once you start getting used to it and you start posting a lot more, my approach to it is that I actually don't give a shit. Like, I'll post things on my stories and I'm sure people are probably like, what the, this guy is cooked. Like, this guy's the biggest weirdo ever. But I don't really care. Like, I don't care because it's just like, if I'm going to like filter myself out to be like some posh bloke and it's just like, oh, that's not me. That's not who I am. So I might as well just be myself. And like I said, if someone's got a problem with it, you can unfollow me. Like, I'm not saying you have to follow. No one has to follow me. You can literally just unfollow me, you know. Or if someone's going to be like, oh, look what Nathan's posting, blah, blah, it's this, it's that, it's that. There's a good chance I don't even know who you are, or there's a good chance you're not even my mate. So I don't care. And that comes with the priorities that I was saying before, of setting them. Give a shit about what you need to give a shit about. Don't give a shit about what you don't need to give a shit about.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing, I think, is also that the very thing you're doing and the very thing that it's the very thing that people like. It's the whole, like, they see someone online that they don't care. They're doing them. And that's the very thing people like. That's the thing that makes people follow it and like follow your journey or whatever it is. And I'm hoping the same. You know, like, people see me trying to do this, creating this podcast, and they see it, and it's like a journey they're along with me to see me. Oh, he's still going. Like, oh my God, he's still going. Like, he's still doing it. Like, oh my God, and that's like the very thing of like, if I talk to whoever I'm talking to and like whatever we're talking about, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's just happening.
It's happening.
I'm just doing it, you know, and getting caught up with like all of what someone's going to think and someone's going to say behind your back to someone else. Like, it's just like so much of it doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day. Like, just do you. And for anyone listening, like, if you want to do anything like this, just start something and do it and keep doing it. That's it. Like, consistently, just keep doing it. I think also, like, for you though, I can feel like it would be more daunting because like you're actually posting photos like shirt off, like your body, you know, obviously you're doing a lot of stuff in the gym. What's that like as a guy? You know, I feel like I don't really know anyone. Oh, maybe I know like some people, but you're like going full with the content. So you're like the only person I guess I really know that's doing that. What's that like? And what was that like at the start? Were you really? I mean, I don't even know how I would feel like taking my shirt off now and then like comparing myself down the line. Like, that's fucking scary to me.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, it can be, and I think especially early because, well, just a little background. Like, I used to always post my gym stuff on my like main like kind of like private account, my stories. And then I got to the stage where I was like, people are probably only watching this because they're following me already. So that's when I kind of said, okay, I'm going to make a different account and I'm just going to post like fitness stuff. Like, a lot of it's gym, but I tried to incorporate like, you know, running or like health food and dieting and all that kind of stuff. But so I kind of like filtered down my followers from that. And when you've got like just comparisons of just the stuff I was posting or the way that I was, you know, back early days, and you compare it to now, it's cool because, like you said, everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of people have been along that journey, like with you. You know what I mean? And it's good because, like, you'll post something, and you'll get some random, not really random, but it's someone like that you haven't heard of for a while, or someone who's just like kind of you just haven't seen in a while, and they'll be the ones that go, oh yeah, nice post, like I really like it. They'll message you, be like, oh yeah, like for example, a few like awesome podcast, blah blah blah, and you're like, dude. Hell yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that is the most rewarding stuff when you've got people that, like, your friends will support you, but when you've got people that aren't really your friends, but you know of, and they're the ones that are messaging you, or they're the ones that are commenting, it's just like, yeah, that's pretty cool, you know what I mean? So, I think initially it was awkward because I was like, I'm posting my body online. Like, a lot of people might think, like, this guy is tiny, you know what I mean? But I think it comes down to that care factor of like, you just don't care. And then it's just more rewarding than not when you've got those people that will reach out and got those people that, you know, they saw me. My very first post, for example, was benching 80 kilos, and now I've just benched 140 for 3. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I remember back then. It's just like it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
it can be
motivating
pretty
shit.
daunting. Yeah, that's what it's
That's
all about.
motivating fucking shit right there.
Dude, like imagine like right now, you've got the people that are following you and the people that are watching your podcast at the moment these days. You just posted, I think episode 3 or episode 4. You're in the very very early stages, dude. And you've made a post road to 90, bro. Imagine when you hit 90, that is, and then you're gonna have people that have been watching your first few episodes and be like, dude, I remember when you posted road to 90. Like that's what I mean. It's so rewarding, and it's the hustle, it's the grind, because 90 episodes of podcasts don't come like that.
Yeah,
You need to go out of your way and allocate the time, and you need to reach out to people, and it's all you. And like you said before, like there's a very minimal percentage of podcasts that will reach 90. So a lot of people, I could be completely wrong, but there might be a chunk of people, you're sharing your podcast around. For example, I could be like, yeah, he's not going to hit 90. No chance. And then when you hit 90, you're like, damn, he hit 90. Like, shit, that's respect. You know what I'm saying? Not that I have that. I reckon you'll quite comfortably hit 90. Going off what you were saying before, just every Monday, bang, 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 and you've got them all lined up and all that. But, there might be just that one person that goes like, 90 episodes is a lot. And then once you reach 90, it's like, damn. And they're the people that will kind of like doubt you or anything in general. Like your podcast or me and what I'm posting or doing anything in life. It'll always be the people that'll be like, yeah, I won't do this. We kind of like talk shit in a sense of being like, just throw doubt and all that stuff on you. They'll be the one that'll follow the journey, like kind of in the background, and they'll first hate, and then they'll start copying, and they'll be like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I just think posting, putting yourself out there, very, very daunting, but you're posting yourself. It's just you, and I would highly encourage having an approach of like, I don't care. If people like it, they'll watch it, like in your sense of like podcast, or they'll listen to it. If people don't like it, they don't have to listen to it. It's completely up to them. But,
yeah, I also think to myself, like, those people, well, first of all, doubt's just like a whole little chapter we could talk about, which I'm sure you've had to face. And I feel like just like self-doubts, oh my God, when they're creeping in, you're just like, your mind is like crazy, and it's just like, no, what are you doing? Who are you to be doing this? Like, what's going on here? Why would anyone listen to you? And it's just like, fuck off. You just slap that shit away. And
get out of here.
There's a I forget what the actual words are, but Sugar Sean O'Malley, UFC, he says he's got like a mantra he tells himself from like the whole lead up to his fight. He only thinks, and he only says in his head, like, too fast, too quick, too accurate, or too powerful, something like this.
Yeah.
And he says all he does is repeat that in his mind. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So anything else coming into his mind that's saying anything other than that, gone. And it's just like this like shield of,
oh, that's savage.
just this shield thing that just fucks off any sort of self-doubt. And doubt is like, self-doubt is the devil, I reckon. I went to funnily enough, actually, last Sunday, I went to a clown workshop, because I really wanted to get uncomfortable and try something. I had a comedian on the podcast for episode 2, and I know another friend, and I was just like, he made a post, this world-renowned clown dude's coming here, and he's like, this is like, you should do it. And I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I went there, got uncomfortable, and I saw a guy there that I had previously seen doing stand-up at like a legit show in Melbourne, and I made friends with him. And afterwards, I see on his phone he's got "Doubt is the devil" on his fucking on his background, and I'm thinking, like, dude, there's something in like the mind of all this type of person where no matter who you are, and you look at this guy, like, it's relative to like posting on social media, like starting a business, being a fucking clown, being a comedian, like doing whatever it is, being a musician. Yeah, it's the same, cut from the same cloth kind of thing.
Facts.
This outlook on life, this mentality is like, I'm doing me, and I don't care about the world. I'm just doing me, and I'm going to keep doing me, and that's what's going to make, that's what's going to make anyone successful, right?
100%. Dude, literally though. But awesome. It's like, when it comes to like, it's all, once again, going back to, it's all mindset. Your mindset, like, where you are right now is exactly where you're meant to be. And when I first heard that, it was like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, what? But then it's like, if you're growing and you're succeeding, if you're smashing out podcasts, if you're leveling up in every aspect of your life, that's where you're meant to be because you're putting in the work. If you're being a lazy piece of shit and just sitting on the couch and be like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but never doing it, that's where you're meant to be. Like, it's all literally up here. Like, literally, like, mindset is everything. And I knew nothing about mindset, or like the absolute bare minimum, until this year. And it's true, because mindset is literally everything. It's the days where you don't want to do stuff that you've got to do stuff, because if you let the emotions take over, bang, you're done. You know, as soon as you start doubting yourself, and you know, you could doubt your podcast or the page you're making, flush it out. It's got to go. Like, you know where you want to be. You've set out the goal. You set out the ambition. Put the fucking work in. Remove the distractions. Get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why literally like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was getting extremely distracted from social media. Like, I would just be scrolling unnecessarily. I would always be, as soon as I got a notification, click. I was very just living around notifications. And I kind of got to give myself credit. Like, I acknowledged it. I was like, hey, this is going to stop. So I literally took a week off social media. I literally deleted every single app from my phone. Bang. A week of just zen. You know what I mean? Like, not having to worry about notifications, not worrying about posting, not have to worry about, you know, I might have seen a video and it put me in a shit mood. I might have seen something and it made me start doubting. I was comparing. I was doing all this stuff that was negatively affecting me. And I just removed the distractions, got rid of it for a week. And it was literally one of the most, like, that week was just unbelievable. It was just me. It was minimal screen time because I had no reason to go on my phone. And I was just getting shit done. You know, like whether it's in the gym or outside of the gym, it doesn't matter. But I was getting shit done. And that's what it's all about. Like, just remove the distractions. And the distractions in this sense are that self-doubt coming in. It's throwing you off. No, fuck off.
Yeah.
This is, you've got that goal. Bang, let's hit it. So literally that week off was unbelievable. That was a good week. Just full,
I wanted to just touch on before. I was going to say also, when you know, you have those people that you start something, they're like looking at you and they're talking shit, or you're maybe hating on it or whatever it is. Yeah. And then you compare to that same person after you say, I've done the 90 episodes, or after you've, you know, hit a certain point. It's like, if you look at that and then like imagine that person started doing something for themselves the same time they saw me start, or whatever, they stayed consistent, just doing the same thing that they wanted to be doing, and compared the time frame. Yeah. These people could do anything, but they're actually wasting their time and energy. Like, it's just pointless, you know? And it's sort of like a little bit of like a motivator, I feel. Unfortunately, I haven't really had anyone talking shit to me, at least directly about the podcast. Yeah. But I do think a lot. I think like, oh, what about this or what about this? And I just think, well, wow, these people are actually willing to spend their energy doing that rather than like something for themselves.
Absolutely.
And if I just hone in on that energy for myself to do something for me, and just smooth sound straight there, bang, one goal, go in
Scary.
there.
Absolutely. Like, you're allocating your time and your energy, because time and energy is very precious. I don't know about you, but these days, when it comes to time, bro, days are gone in a split second. I feel like someone's like literally sped up time. Like, we're not spending 24 hours in a day. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, days are literally flying. Weeks are flying. Literally, I'm not even taking the piss. Every week I'll hit Sunday. I'm like, damn, it's Sunday. It's Monday tomorrow. And then fast forward, it literally feels like 2 hours later, we're at Thursday. And I'm like, oh my God, I remember speaking about this on Sunday, about how it was Sunday and the week's about to begin. So when it comes to time, it's so precious. And that's why I also think taking that week off from social media so I can literally just get stuff done was so good, because I would spend like half an hour scrolling unnecessarily. That's half an hour gone. Days are bloody flying. We don't have time to waste, you know what I mean? So you're spending your time and your energy getting shit done, getting out podcasts, focusing on yourself, focusing on this page you're growing, and they're going to spend their time and energy worrying about you. You can spend as much time as you want, as they want, worrying about you, because they're still going to be at the same level, and you're going to be like this, and you're just going to be like this.
There's a good quote. I don't know who says it, but I heard Jay-Z say it, and he says that these haters can live in my mind. I can live in their mind rent free. He talks about how he's like, for free, he'll stay in their mind, and while he's just doing his thing, and I'm like, damn, that's sick.
It's facts, 100%. Like,
I butchered
you gotta think about it. No, I rate that. It's true. Like, like, you can live rent free. Like, do you honestly reckon that people who are successful in life, the top dogs, the absolute like the ones that are there, they've made it. Do you honestly reckon they give a shit about what Billy behind the screen is going to say? They don't care. They don't have time. They don't have the energy. Like, they're there for a reason. You've made it in life for a reason. You're successful for a reason. You know, if you're going to worry about everything and what other people says, you're not going to get anything done in life. Like, literally, like, before I'd made this social media page, if I was so caught up on, oh, what happens if like people don't really like it, or what happens if I wouldn't have made it. Literally wouldn't have made it. And you gotta just remove those distractions and just get shit done. 100%. Like,
what's your goal with the channel and doing it? What's your channel? What's your handle?
Yeah. So what is it? Yeah, I got my Nathan Boccari 8. No, I'm joking. No, I'm just fine. No. So the goal for me, and I think it always will be, is just as long as I guess you could use the word inspire one person, I'm happy. It doesn't have to be I need to post something every single day and create world change and all that stuff. All I want is just to inspire, and I'm ticking boxes. Obviously, that changes as the years go on. You start growing a little bit more. You set different goals. But for me, on a yearly basis, I'll set out, okay, at the start of the year, and I'm kind of against the idea of like New Year's resolutions, but I'm just going to use this for an example. Start of the year, okay, what from this channel, what do I want? And I'm not going to be like, oh, I want 1 million followers. I don't really give a shit about sorry, I can't speak. I don't really give a shit about that kind of stuff. It's more that, can I inspire? Can I push? Can I I don't do it for this, but when I was saying before, you get the feedback from people like, oh, awesome stuff. Like, oh, you've just given me tips on how to do this. Like, for example, I just posted a video about bench pressing, and I had 2 people message me privately saying, thanks, dude, really appreciate it. Like, you've just given me good advice on this. Beautiful. Tick. That's what it's all about. So for me, I'm just all about that kind of stuff. And in a gym's perspective, and giving people the motivation and the drive, and instilling discipline into people to be able to get in those uncomfortable positions and grow. That is what I want this year. Could change next year, could change the year after, but that's what I want. But I'm not really, for me, I'm not focused on, okay, this year I need to hit this amount of followers. I need to get a sponsorship. That stuff will come, but you can't have that kind of approach on these kind of pages and all that kind of stuff, because then you're doing it for probably the wrong reasons. You know, if you're doing it to gain money, like, I'm only making this fitness account to make money, probably doing it for the wrong reasons, you know? Yeah. Do it for, I guess you could use like a morally right reasons, I guess, if that's what you want to say. Do it for those reasons. Do it because you genuinely care, and it's going to come. Everything else will come with it, you know what I mean? So that's my goal, is just this year is to just keep inspiring. Next year could be completely different, but that's just where I'm at the moment, 100%.
Yeah, nice.
What about you?
Similar. Like, I just want to be able to have some sort of, I could have a positive impact on like one person. That's really it, you know? But, and like, I think like with that outlook, it sort of just naturally becomes like, that's just like what's going to happen. If that's just like your only little goal, and you just focus on that, that'll keep growing, it'll keep growing, and then like all the other shit, followers, money, like all that other shit will come, you know? It doesn't even matter. Just focus on like these little things and stick to it, and staying consistent with it. That's like literally it.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like a lot of my life I've met people and interacted with people who are so close-minded and so not open, and a lot of things that I guess like as I grew up I like looked at and thought like, oh, I don't want to be like that, so I'm going to be my own way, and sort of like made this self-definition of like the kind of person I wanted to be when I was like 16 or 17. Yeah. And just like looked at myself as I was at the time and thought, you know what, I feel like I'm just doing a lot of stuff that like people around me are doing. So I'm going to look at myself, change myself, define like the kind of person I wanted to be. Because to me, like the most important thing for my whole life was to be the best possible person that I could be. Oof. And I had been a type of person like growing up that like not nice to people or whatever it is, but that's like old me, like you said, that's dead me. You know, that shit's gone. And I just decided like I'm just going to do this, and like that's my goal. And I think that this all sort of came from that. I want to be able to share that sort of outlook with people and learn from people, and like take the best parts of everything around me and try to like accumulate them into like this version that I align with the most, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. And when you talk about like the best possible version of yourself, mate, could not agree more. Like for me, like imagine like being on your deathbed and having just regrets and just being like,
Yeah.
imagine if I did, you know, like for example, for you, imagine if I did start that podcast, or imagine if I did make that page. Oh, I would have been so good.
Yeah.
Having regrets, like it's just, like it's tough because, like I said, time is going so quick. You got to leave like no stone unturned. Like just do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like when I was saying before, when it comes to like instruments, if you're not a person that's into instruments, stuff it. Just learn something. Don't need to be a pro at it. No one's saying to be the top level and to be unreal. Just try it. Learn a language. Do things that are just in a state that's a little bit uncomfortable. So you can say at the end of the day, bang, I learned a different language. Or bang, I've learned an instrument. Or bang, I've done this in the gym. Or bang, I've done a marathon. All that kind of stuff. Like, just tick boxes, become the best possible version of yourself. Because when you actually think about it, it is a little bit daunting when you think about it. Like in 100 years, no one will know who you are. Facts. No one. Because that's when it gets to the stage where generations have gone past, and it's like, oh, my great grandfather Nate. Like, don't know who the hell he is, but like 99% of people won't be remembered in 100 years. But imagine being that 1%. You know how fucking savage that is. Like imagine being like, literally like your great grandfather Nate had this mad as podcast. It did unreal. Like he's released 1,000 episodes. Like, you know what I mean? Just like having like it could be that or it could be something else. But just imagine being remembered for something, and being that 1%. Because I guarantee you, like I said, probably more than 99%, 99.5% of people will not be remembered in 100 years. Facts. Like absolutely. But imagine being that person that is like in your bloodline. Imagine being that one. That is just like, you know, imagine going through the generations and being like, this was the guy that did this, this was the guy that did this. And then like, you know, you've got like your buddy 15 great grandsons that are down the path and be like, oh, this guy in my bloodline was a fucking badass. Like, look at him, you know what I mean? Or for example, for me, let's say, because obviously I can only relate to myself. Imagine someone going down and be like, oh, my great grandfather Nathan, he used to be fucking jacked. You look at him bench pressing heaps, he used to lift heaps, he used to know how to fight. I don't know how to fight to save myself, but imagine being like that type of person, you know, like he used to be a fucking savage, like he had money, like he did this, like imagine being that 1%. That is sick. Like that is cool. That's what I reckon, personally.
What do you think is like, or do you feel I don't know how to articulate this actually. Maybe I'll just ask more about like inspiration. Like when someone messages you and talks to you about something that you've done to inspire them, like what does that do for you? Because I feel like to receive a message and then someone tell you like they're inspired by you, yeah, like what's that do to you? Does that clearly has got to like push you and become, make it more so not even like about yourself at some point, and it's more like about like the things that you're able to provide for people.
Yeah,
you know, because I'd love to be able to, especially with the podcast, like at some point it's going to have nothing to do with me, and then all to do with like the like thing maybe that I've made, and the thing being the podcast or the information or like the exchange of whatever, like it becomes about that thing, which is of like a greater service for the people than me, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Wait, first of all, am I too dark? Do you want me to open the blind a little bit? Or am I right?
No, that's fine. That's good.
That's fine. All right. Yeah, no, 100%. So, like, first of all, the receiving a message, first thing it does, put a big smile on my face. 100%, every single time. But for the response mechanisms that I have from that is that if this has given someone a little bit of inspiration, you know, and they've willingly gone out of their way to message you and be like, dude, like, once again, this doesn't have to be like a mate of yours. This could be someone that you just know of, that you're not mates with. You just know. They've gone out of their way to message you and say, look, I really appreciate what you've posted, or you've inspired me to do this, or every time I see your stories, like that is you're creating value on your account. So, and I think that break that I had from social media kind of made me realize that, you know, I kind of drifted away from like the content kind of approach, and I was just posting just like photos and stuff, but how is that going to impact someone's life? How is that going to create value for one person? So that's why after that break, I kind of looked at my account and be like, okay, back in the day, maybe like a few months ago, I was creating that value. Now I've kind of drifted off. But once again, you need to acknowledge that kind of stuff and be like, okay, now I need to create value for one person. So that's why I posted that video of top 3 bench press tips. And like I said, bang, you have 2 people message. Like, look, I really appreciate it. I love the video, bang. It's like, and then you got a few comments as well. Like, that is what it's all about. Just creating value on like your podcast or my kind of account is what it's all about. So when it came to like when I had been doing the podcast, what we would do personally is look through the whole video and we would do little snippets, but okay, bang, bang, like, 1 minute to 1 minute 30, like the snip of that. Look at the areas in this podcast that can create value. It's not just like, when we go back to my account of me just posting a photo. It's like, yeah, okay, it's a cool photo, but how is that going to impact someone? And in a podcast perspective, and you have been doing it, keep posting the clips that someone could watch and be like, damn, what this person said is so true. Like I did actually see the short of Connor saying, there is light at the end of the tunnel. And someone doesn't have to comment and be like, damn, I learned something from this. But someone could just think like, shit, that is so true. Bang, tick. You've just created value on your account from a video. Continue doing that. Continue with that value. And it's just, that is what it's all about. Like I said, a lot of people can get caught up in what we were saying before, like the monetary reasons or success or blowing up. But if you have an account that's value orientated, you are going to do so much better than an account that is focused on money and focused on blowing up and focused on this and focused on that. Create value. Oh, mate, value. This is what it's all about, dude. 100%.
Yeah, before you said, like, just learn this, learn that, learn this. Yeah. Like, it comes sort of back to the being like the open-mindedness, and I think also self-value and self-worth stuff, because when I think like of anything, right, that I can learn, it's just like, I just look at this thing over here that I could learn and I'm like, yes, I could learn that. Like in my mind, it's just like, yes, I could learn that. Yes, I could learn that. It doesn't matter. Because I guess, just if I want to put my mind to it and learn something, I could just do it. But I think like a lot of people could get stuck in this mindset of like, I can't, or it's uncomfortable, that whole like comfortable thing that, and even to learn something new is to fail and all that. And I like that you say, learn this, learn that, learn this, because really, like, what are you doing? My opinion is like, if you're not learning stuff in your life, like, what are you doing? My whole life, like, outlook is, and obviously like the podcast is about learning, right? Learning through life, your life experiences, my life experiences, anyone else's life experiences, whatever it is. And I think that was instilled in me from my dad, who's obviously like, teacher, coach, and to have, I don't know, I would love to be able to portray that to people and like learning, be open, even if it's not something that's going to be even like that beneficial to you. Like, learn how to like try to master your mind, or learn how to take care of yourself and learn to know what you need, and all of this stuff that I feel like is typically, I mean, maybe it's coming up more on, I guess now, on like social media, people doing it, but like on the masses, I feel like it's typically like missing sometimes.
Absolutely.
It's always about people who think they know every single thing and like this is it, and there's no like attempt to change perspectives and look at it a different way, So I got there's one of the quotes that I saw, I got like 100 million quotes just banked up here, and it was like, the person that says I can't and the person that says I can will do exactly what they say. And this is one of the first things that I said when I thought of when you said, like, when they say, oh, I can't, it's failure. Okay, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're not going to learn that because you've just said I can't. Whereas like something may be well out of my area of knowledge, but if I say, I can give this a crack, I will give this a crack, you're going to do exactly that because you're admitting that this is something I don't know and I'm willing to give it a crack. Whether you give a comparison of someone that say, I can't really start a podcast because I don't really know. Right, bang, you just said it. You're not going to do it. I guarantee you're not going to do it. You know what I mean? And that's when you tweak the mindset a little bit. If you're willing to learn new things and to adapt new things into your lifestyle, that's exactly what you're going to do. Like, when you look at like the content aspect,
A mate of mine, he owns a small business, a clothing brand. And initially he was just posting like kind of, it was more of like the gym approach. He was posting like gym like videos and all that kind of stuff. And then he got to the point where it was like, okay, is this creating value for people? Probably not. Okay, how can I create value? And what he posts now is small business content. How to do this, how to do that. So now he's got his kind of gym market, and now he's creating an absolutely different market of small business. And someone could look at that and be like, oh, hang on, this person's just posting, I can do that, bang.
Yeah.
And that could inspire this person. And then that person could start a small business and inspire this person. And that is when we're talking about when it comes to the mindset and the I can and the I can't. That's the difference right there. You know what I'm saying? If you're going into something already thinking, oh, I can't do that, you're not going to do it. You know, it's, for example, for soccer, you know, we've got soccer in common. You're versus on top of the table. If you're going to think, oh, we're going to get smashed, that's exactly what's going to happen. Guaranteed. If you go into the game thinking, oh, we're going to get smashed, you're going to get smashed. It's all about that. But yeah.
Yeah. What's I was meaning to ask you. Oh fuck! I actually had a question for you at the start, which would be the first question, which I just completely haven't got to yet. Which was, natty or not?
Ooh, natty or not? You know, 2 weeks ago, I had 2 blokes come up to me at the gym and be like, "You're bullshit." I am 100% natural. No fingers crossed, none of this. 100% natural, because I don't have too many underlying health issues, but genetically there's too many health things, and I am so caught up on my heart. This might be like random, but I'm very caught up on my heart and my health, the health of my heart, to even test that. Like, I don't want to. For me, I'm a big no. I'm actually like, I'm relatively against the idea of me even taking it. I know that I won't take anything. I'm 100% natural. But yeah, just I'm so caught up on the health side of things for me as is right now. If I was to take stuff, it would just, I don't think my anxiety would be able to cope. Like, genuinely be serious. Like, I'm very caught up with my heart. And like I said, like, you know, I had the photo of me doing heart tests. That was last year. And then I did heart tests the year before. I'm very just, yeah. And I actually got to a stage where, like, maybe at the start of the year, I was very kind of on edge about getting my heart rate too high. So if we were playing sports and I felt my heart pounding, wouldn't like it. If I'm at the gym and my heart rate's pounding, I look at my Apple Watch, or bang, like 180 heart rate. I'm like, okay, whoa. So I feel like, you know, if I was to take stuff, it probably wouldn't benefit me health-wise. So that's why I'm against it. But yeah, I am 100% natty. But I have been asked that a few times. I look at it now as like a compliment, because people are asking like, oh, like, are you natural? It's like, yes, I'm natural. I'm just going through heartbreak, bro. That's what you got to go through to get big. Literally, though.
What's your... I see you posting some videos, ice bath. What's your like routine? What's your like morning routine, I guess? I'm interested.
Well, I don't like, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm not going to be like, oh, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go for a 30-kilometer run. I'm not that type of person. I got to admit, and this is kind of funny. So the Friday night, me and my mates, we had gone out. We had a pretty big night, and we woke up on the Saturday at like 9 in the morning. And we were a little bit hungover, and we were like, literally, I looked at my best mate, and he was like, let's go for an ice bath. And I'm like, fuck off, bullshit. I'm like, no chance. And he goes, let's do it. And I was like, fuck, it's all right, whatever. We ended up going for an ice bath. And because me and my best mate are very similar when it comes to mindsets, because nobody else is going to be doing this. You're extremely hungover on a Saturday, like 9 o'clock in the morning. It was cold yesterday as well. No one's going for an ice bath. That's exactly why we do it. So once we were sitting there, and I was like, oh, I can't be bothered. And I'm like, no. I was like, fine, fuck it. Like, let's do it. So that was actually my first time I've ever gone for an ice bath. And I loved it. Like, oh, mate. I mean, I didn't love it at the start. Like, going in, it was freezing. Like, it was so cold. And I hate cold water. That's my thing. Like, when it comes to the beach, like, I will take my time to walk in, because I'm not a fan. But, yeah, going in, like the shock to the body, it was real. Like I said, it was my first time doing it. I was like, wow, like this is cold. Yeah. And then once you settled in, you've got all I had was like my head over the water, and I settled in. I just focused on breathing. It was actually really relaxing. I actually really enjoyed it. Like, have you done an ice bath before or something like that?
Yeah, I've done an ice bath. I try to have cold showers as much as I can.
Yeah.
I had one today.
Nice.
Been through like cycles of just like straight cold, just cold.
Yeah. Yeah, nice.
It's easier
Yeah.
sometimes than others, but then like you get a bit. I feel like if you put it into your routine, it's a lot easier. But sometimes like
Yeah.
if you don't have a routine where it's like definitely in there, then like it's easy to fall off. But
Yeah.
yeah, every now and then I try to bring it back. But yeah, cold as I also done some ice baths for soccer and stuff.
Yeah, nice.
And
Yeah.
they are like hectic, really fucking hectic.
Yeah, it's full on. Like I said, it's a shock to the body. Like,
Yeah.
because you got to think, like, who else is going to be doing this? Like, you know, you've got to do stuff that makes it uncomfortable, and that's one of them. You know, but when it comes to routine, when it comes to like recovery stuff, I don't really have a routine with that. But
Yeah.
I have a life routine. It's legit like Monday to Friday. Part of the Matrix, man. Nah, I'm joking. I'm literally like, I'll wake up early. I got work. I'll go to the gym, and then I'll do stuff at night, whether that's uni or go for a walk or go for a run or whatever. I'll kind of that's like my me time at night. Spend time with family and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to like recovery, don't really like personally have a routine. That will change when sports is involved, because when sports is involved, like my routine, I guess that's what we call it, is, or like my schedule is just full on. Like it's just ridiculous. Like I'm extremely busy, which I do like. I do like being busy and like always on the go. So that will adjust next year when it all starts up again. But yeah, no, I don't really have a recovery routine, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. But more ice
Yeah.
baths, I reckon, because that was good.
Yeah, that's
That was
fair.
really
That's
good.
fair.
Yeah.
That's good. Do
Yeah.
you? I have a couple other questions. One was like, what are the biggest or main habits you've broken that you maybe had like a challenge with? Because I mean, a lot of people have a lot of habits, you know, and I think it'd be cool
Yeah.
to hear like what were some habits or one habit that was like really difficult to break, because I think a lot of
Yeah.
people could maybe like relate to that, and then
Yeah.
how'd you go about breaking it, and like what are you doing in place of it, you know?
Yeah, so well, I think one thing that comes to my mind straight away was I've never been a reader. I've never ever been a reader. I don't think I've ever read a book, like finished a book outside of school. And I guess you could relate it to the kind of approach that I have of like, all right, let's just do things that I don't do. Reading was one of them. So I've got like 2 books on my bedside table now, and what I would always do is, before I even had those, it'd just be scroll, bang, put the phone away, try to sleep. And my sleep was like pretty bang average, not gonna lie. It wasn't like a good quality sleep. I would sometimes wake up with migraines because there was too much screen time, and my mind was still running. So the quality of sleep wasn't there. So one thing that I have done, literally ever since I've got back from Europe, is just read. Before bed, put the phone away, like relax with the notifications. Like the sun will rise tomorrow. If you miss 5 notifications, like the world's not going to end. Put it away, do not disturb. I just got my book out and I just read. And is really, really good. Like I love it now at the moment. Like I'm reading a book at the moment. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
read it
yeah,
or you've
yeah.
heard of it before. Very, very popular book. But yeah, it's relaxing. Like you're not looking at screen before, and that was something that I knew was a problem. Like I said, I would wake up with migraines, like literally like in pain, or my sleep was really bad, but I would do
Yeah.
nothing about it. That's just like, yeah, you know what I mean? So reading before bed, like 10, 15 pages, doesn't need to be a whole bloody book. Just read, take your mind off the screen, and you're learning something, and you're like taking in stuff that you wouldn't have done, last year or something like that. And this is what we're talking about when we become just that 1% better. You're doing stuff that you wouldn't usually do. So reading is something that I've broken a habit of, like screen time through reading right before bed. And honestly, the quality of sleep during now is just unbelievable. Like it's really,
Yeah.
really good, because I'm not like scroll, put it away, fall asleep. It's just, you've had that downtime, you've had that just like you time. You've been able to, read a few pages, you're relaxing your mind, book away, okay, time to go to sleep, you know what I mean? So that's definitely a habit that I've broken, just that screen time. I think screen time in general is a habit that I am breaking through at the moment as well, just to
Yeah.
not get not get so caught up on notifications, or, like sometimes I'll literally pick up my phone, unlock it, and then just lock it. It's like, why did I even do that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I was like,
I know
I
what you
checked
mean.
something for like literally 1 second, and then I've turned it off. Like, that didn't need to be done. So one thing that I have done when it comes to like screen time and social media and stuff is, and this happened when I took that week off social media, is I've re-downloaded the apps, but I don't have them on my home screen. So I've actually deleted them from my screen. So I needed to go out of my way to search them up to go into those apps. So it's not like, it's not a drastic change. It's not like I'm zenned up and a completely different person, but it's just that one extra step that I need to do to go onto it. It's not like I've just got easy access straight away, bang, you know what I mean? So that has been something that, another approach that I've had to kind of break the habit of just really high screen time, getting so caught up on notifications. I actually spend most of my days on Do Not Disturb. It's probably a bad thing when it comes to like phone calls and stuff, but it's just don't disturb me. Like, put the phone away, like, you know, or if I am on my phone, like, it's not like, you know, notifications will be popping up. I'm on Do Not Disturb. And like, when it comes to the gym as well, I will 100% of the time be on Do Not Disturb. Like, the second I walk in and the second I leave, like, because another thing, like, and like, you see it, and obviously it's normal, like just going on your phone between sets and all that kind of stuff, but you can get so caught up in it, you know what I mean? You can just be scroll, and the time you meant to spend 30 seconds scrolling is just now turned into a minute. It's just little things like that. So do not disturb, put it away. If I need to check something, I'll check something. But I think that week of me taking a break from social media, the best part about it was when I was training, I literally was not touching my phone. And it was unbelievable. And you put that into perspective of training, you can do it into other things. You know, when you're reading, you don't have your phone going off every 2 seconds, and you're like, oh, hang on, no, it's away. You've put it away. Have you time. Be present in the moment. Or when you're with people, you're not notification. You know, the one thing I'm not really a fan of is like, if I'm speaking to someone and they're just like scrolling on my phone, it's like, you're not present right now. You're not present at all. Like, everything I'm saying is going through one ear out the other. So like, being with people, put the phone away, do not disturb, or, you know, like I said, hide those apps so it's not as easy access. So you're actually present, you know what I mean? With family time as well, you're actually present. So 100% when it comes to screen time and social media, they've been the habits that I've changed recently. Absolutely.
Yeah, screen time is a tough one. Do not disturb helped me the most. I went from scrolling heaps to like, man, I think my average per day, I think is like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. It's like, I was going hard for that though. There was days where I would just like turn off my phone, like if someone's home. But if I'm going somewhere, because like you said, it can be a bit like stupid sometimes, I think, because like to call me, you need to call me twice, and so like if I'm like needed or something, my phone won't like ring. But other than that, like, so hard. I agree. It can be so difficult, especially, I mean, I'm not really liking it that much at the moment because obviously like I have the podcast I'm posting. It's like I have to sort of like be on social media, and I'm like, fuck, like I don't like this, but I gotta do it anyway.
It's tough. I 100% I get you. Absolutely.
You know.
So yeah, it can accumulate. You can get a pretty high screen time when it comes to the social media stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
So I got one final question because I got another podcast in 45 minutes. So
beauty.
My last question I have is one I typically try to ask like all my guests. For some reason, I don't really know. But like, let's say right now you have 1 million people listening to what you're about to say. What's one piece of information you're sharing with those people?
Oh, so what's like a little bit of advice, huh?
Yeah. It's
just leave no stone unturned. Just do it. Absolutely, like anything that you've thought about doing, just do it. You know, if you want to start reading, start reading. Don't be that type of person that's, I want to do this, I want to, just get it done. Like I said before, remove the distractions or the things that are holding you back and get the work done in any area of your life. It could be business, you know, social media, it could be, you know, literally like sports, gym. If you've thought about it, just fucking do it. Like, don't hold back, stop holding back, because like I said, you've only got one shot at this thing called life. Leave no stone unturned. Don't be at that stage where you get to your deathbed and you just have regrets. You know, because what's the worst that's going to happen? Like if you fail at something, like change your fucking mindset. So you look at something, you fail, and you're like, done. Let's fucking go. You know, I've learnt something from that failure. Let's progress. You know, just get shit done. Don't fuck around. Stop wasting time. Days are going quick. But yeah, it's just fucking. Oh mate, I just want to like scream, like fucking get shit done. Like, you know what I mean? like you know, like you look at like this podcast. You know, you could have easily held back and kept. You've said, fuck this, I'm getting it done. Start the podcast, now look at you. Like, you're just getting it done. This is the thing, if you don't take that leap of faith, like, you know what I'm saying, you're not going to know. The one saying that I know is, you don't know how deep the water is unless you don't test it. You know what I'm saying? You've got to get it done. Just work, any goal, any ambition that you've set out, do it. Stop talking about it, fucking get it done. That's what I've got to say.
Nice. I love it. That's
bro.
great. Cool.
But yeah,
Look, Nathan, thank you.
thank you.
This has been
Been an absolute
it's been
pleasure.
awesome. Yeah, thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, nah, I've loved it. It's been good. Thanks for having me on. I like it. I like where this podcast is heading. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out. But it's been good. Nah, I do appreciate it. It's been a good talk.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed it, man.
beautiful. Yeah, and likewise, I'm super keen to just keep seeing where your channel's going and support you there.
Sweet.
It's sick.
Thanks, bro. All right, too easy.